This video is presented by Tales of Arise. As fantasy RPGs go, very few have the legacy of the Tales of series, with over 25 years and 16 main titles already secured in both the hearts and gaming collections of fans. Now, with Tales of Arise, not only are we going to be treated to a new and masterfully crafted action-adventure RPG, but a fully enhanced Tales of experience. From the combat to the characters and the entire world design, these exciting new changes and improvements have so much to offer new players and long-time fans. So whichever camp you hail from, let's take a look at what you can expect from Tales of Arise. Let's start with combat. What's a quest to challenge the fate of civilization without a good kicking to the bad guys?
It'll be a breeze.
The battle system has been enriched from previous games in the series, with combat feeling fast and frenetic. Fights take place in a closed 3D area after an encounter, giving you and the team plenty of space to maneuver and plan your attack. During the fight, you'll control one of the 6 main characters from your adventure, with 3 others making up your team of 4. Each has their own strengths, combat style, and perks that can wildly swing the tide of battle. So if you pride yourself on the efficient slapping of your enemies, there's a lot of detail to get into if you choose. Your 2 protagonists, Alfin and Shion, both have some awesome moves. Alfin is a sword-wielding all-rounder, while Shion sports a rifle that is great against aerial enemies. The rest of your party is no different. Law is a hand-to-hand combat pro that dominates rigid and armored enemies. Rinwell is your magic user, who also pairs great against other magic users. Kisara and her shield work well with charging enemies and also protecting allies, while Dohalim is ideal for getting the nippy, agile enemies with his combat rod. The best part of the combat in Tales of Arise is seeing the team working together in a seamless unit, lighting up the arena with dramatic combos and special attacks that overwhelm your enemies and leave you with a smug look and a fistful of loot for your trouble. As with previous Tales games, there are several ways to deal damage in a fight. Your basic attack is free to use any time, and ideal to start getting early hits on your combo counter. You can target weak points on certain enemies to increase your chance of breaking their guard and knocking them down, opening up a window for you and the team to lay it on thick. Next, you have special techniques, known in the series as arts. These are mapped to 3 of your face buttons, but require charge from your arts gauge. You can see this just above your HP gauge. Each art uses a particular amount of AG to perform, so you can choose if you want to save up for a bigger move, or hammer through cheaper attacks. Some arts will even launch your enemies, opening them up to additional attacks in the air. This also changes your available arts from ground to aerial, giving you a total of 6 to work with. As the game progresses, you'll not only unlock more arts and skills, but also the ability to use more than 6 in combat. Of course, getting damage in is all well and good. Great, even. Really great. But unless you know how to avoid it yourself, these fights are going to be short and painful. With the exception of Kisara and her enormous shield, the other 5 characters can't block attacks. Instead, you'll be dodging. You can dodge in any direction you choose, but timing it just right will give you a perfect dodge, opening up a window to counterattack your enemy. Mastery of this is key to maintaining the flow in battle and keeping the pressure on. So take some time early on to get a feel for the movement. Future you will thank you. If you do take some damage, you can use healing and support arts to recover your HP. Beware though, this uses up cure points, or CP, that can usually only be recovered from resting out of combat, so avoiding damage is always preferable. Next, you have your boost attacks. You can see each character charging their boost gauge over their icon in the lower left corner. As the team leader, you can choose when to trigger these by pressing the corresponding button on the D-pad. These are powerful moves unique to each character and have some handy special effects. Alfin, for example, can use some of his own HP to do bonus damage, while Shion can knock flying enemies out of the sky. But what if the boost attack you need isn't in the active party? Worry not, you can still call in that ally to jump in and perform the move. As you get more comfortable with the battle system, you'll master the timing of boost attacks to give them maximum impact for you and the team. Where things get really dramatic are with boost strikes. As you lay the damage on an enemy, you'll be building up its strike gauge. If it fills, you'll get an on-screen prompt to hit the D-pad and watch the screen light up as two characters team up to smash a boss or finish off lighter foe. This is by far the most satisfying way to end a fight, and will contribute to your battle score at the end. The better your score, the more skill points you'll get for upgrading your skills and titles throughout the game. On rare occasions, you'll also get the strike prompt when certain conditions are met. So watch out for these opportunities to see your teammates in action doing their finest work. Now that you've got combat sorted, let's take a look at the stunning worlds you'll be exploring on your adventure. Welcome to the breathtaking landscapes of Dana and Rena. Tales of Arise has a whole new look from previous games in the series, giving the environment incredible scale and detail using the atmospheric shader. The traditional anime look has been modernized, but longtime fans will still recognize the style, especially during the skits and fully animated cutscenes within the game.
Well, this crew just gets bigger and bigger.
Tales of Arise takes place across multiple regions of two different worlds, the more medieval world of Dana and the advanced world of Rena. Rena has ruled over Dana for 300 years, enslaving its people and soaking up Dana's resources for themselves. Now, divided up by walls and controlling lords, you and the party will have a huge variety of regions to explore. From the dry desert regions of Calaglia, dotted with oil refining machinery, to the snow-covered region of Cislodia, each with unique characters to meet on your quest. The regions are semi-open world, meaning you'll be moving through several smaller open areas that aren't directly connected to one another. Fans of Tales games will know all too well that curiosity is often rewarded in these areas, so be sure to really take a look around for resources and hidden secrets. New to Tales of Arise is the ability to jump over the terrain and swim in shallow water, opening up new options and opportunities in the game. For newcomers, you'll be glad to know that you can keep your distance from enemies you don't want to engage, meaning you'll always be ready for your next fight. In the open world, you'll want to make sure you're managing your health and cure points. Out of combat, it's usually best to heal up using items, such as gels, rather than burning through your CP, as this precious resource is also needed to unlock closed paths to progress the game and find hidden treasures.
Wow. Sure.
You can rest up at campsites to recover CP, as well as engage in a bit of delicious cooking. Recipes will need different ingredients, of course, but the bonus effects can help you and the team both in and out of combat, so it's well worth dusting off the old apron for.
Good. This came out just the way I hoped.
You can even take on farming of animals and crops, as well as fishing to help out with your resource management. You'll also be coming across NPCs out in the wild and entire communities in the towns. Here you can trade items and resources, upgrade your gear, and forge brand new weapons to take into battle. Each character has a main weapon, armor set, and an accessory that you'll be changing up as you go. Your cosmetic style isn't directly tied to your equipment though. Costumes are a recurring feature in the Tales games, freeing you up to craft your own look with your favorite gear. Speaking of which, keep an eye out in the world as you might spot an owl sitting quietly by itself. Go say hello and you'll be rewarded with an interesting equipable item. As the characters in the game are now 3D models rather than illustrations, you'll be able to see them in their costumes during moments of dialogue. Tales games have always put story and character connections first, and Tales of Arise is no different. The relationship between the two protagonists, Alfin and Shion, is particularly difficult, with Alfin a Danan and Shion a Renan. Alfin has no memory of his past, but is driven by a desire to free his people from the grasp of Rena. As well as losing his memory, he's also lost the ability to feel pain, a somewhat handy trick that motivates his HP sapping arts in combat. Shion has allied herself with Alfin against her own people, but is afflicted with the curse of thorns, hurting anyone who touches her. As a Renin, Shion is also able to draw and use astral energy, a power that resides in all living things, and use it in the form of astral arts. She's able to manifest this energy into the blazing sword, a weapon that burns whoever wields it. With Alfin's ability to withstand pain, he becomes the only person capable of grasping the sword, but also capable of any physical connection with Shion, making their relationship all the more complex. As you explore the landscape, you'll quickly meet the rest of your allies and begin forging the bonds that drive the story of Tales of Arise. For new players, you'll find a deep and engaging action RPG with exciting combat and a rich world to explore. For fans, so much will feel familiar, as this much-loved series gets the enhanced and modernised touches it deserves. Tales of Arise launches on September 10th, ready for you to challenge the fate of a world.